Thank you. Thanks all for being here and a great session, the last one before this. We as a group here are here to talk about cloud kitchens and how do we look at profitability in a cloud kitchen model. And when the organizers of this great event, they reached out to some of us to conceptualize this panel, we thought that it would be amazing if we can have representation from across the ecosystem to have different perspectives represented here. And that's where personally very happy that we've been able to have pure play cloud brands like Anshul from EatClub and Boxate Group, Rebel Foods represented by me. Then individual cloud brands like Viren from Good Flipping Burger being here. So, and we have Thilak from a very innovative model called SHERO in Chennai, and he'll talk about it. So we have pure play cloud brands here. We have, Sidharth from Swiggy representing the aggregators side. And we have omni-channel brands also. Tarak, for example, representing Mad Over Donuts, and all the other esteemed panelists here. So we have a great mix of brands and Sidharth from Swiggy here to talk about this omni-channel as well as pure play. So I'll quickly start off with just defining for the group on what cloud kitchen essentially means, and then we'll quickly have thoughts from everyone, and we'll keep it freewheeling in terms of the thoughts of the panel. But the main topic is, everybody has heard of this term called cloud kitchens. What does that really mean? And is there actually scope to make money, or it's just a sort of a fad here? A cloud kitchen essentially means a restaurant without a facade, right? So you can't walk into a restaurant. And when we at Rebel Foods started doing this in 2014, people said, how are you just removing your location, going to the back of the street, going from ground floor to first floor, even on the first floor, going to the back of the building just to reduce rent? How will customers notice you, and how will you get orders? We thought that since most of our customers have never seen our brand anywhere on the street, so might as well just give it a shot. But thankfully it has worked over the years, and essentially that's what a cloud kitchen is. And then we later realized that the other advantage of being in a cloud kitchen model is that you can have multiple brands in the same kitchen, because customer is not getting confused by walking into your outlet on what exactly are you selling. So with Fasos, we also started Behroo's and Oven Story and some of the other brands. So a multi-brand cloud kitchen play is what we are currently doing. As you can think, the big advantages of a cloud kitchen model are that it reduces the fixed costs significantly. You don't have to put in a lot of capex to set up the restaurant. There is lower operating cost also. So your rent goes down obviously, but also some of your operating costs like number of people that you need in the kitchen. There is no dining staff required. The utility costs are low because instead of a full-fledged AC system, you can do with a fresh air system also. So these are some of the advantages, but then at the same time, there are certain challenges also. Visibility in the locality goes down, right? Nobody can see your brand when they're passing by in the main street of the area. That sort of necessitates the need to make sure that customers remember you becomes very important. To get people to download the app, if you have your own D2C app, that's a challenge. And then in general, the whole discovery point becomes much more crucial. How do you get discovery? Variable costs increase because now you are paying for every single order in terms of delivery, and if you're working on that with a partner like Swiggy or Zomato or anyone else, then there is also a commission. So variable costs increase while fixed costs go down. So this is broadly the context of a cloud kitchen. Now I would sort of request the panelists, probably starting in the same order of seating, to share what their thoughts are on this, and if they have to think about a cloud kitchen, or somebody here has to start a cloud kitchen, what are the top 2 or 3 things to be sure about?
Hi everyone, thanks for having me here on the panel. I think Raghav very nicely summarized what a cloud kitchen is and how it's different to a more traditional form of restaurant. So I think I would want to start by saying that, cloud kitchen is still a very new industry. I mean, effectively, this is like a less than 10-year-old industry. The whole food delivery ecosystem is still fairly nascent. And I think like with every growing sort of industry, I think both food delivery and cloud kitchen specifically will find its way to be a sustainable long-term sort of business. I think the 2-3 things that, in my view, are very important for somebody looking to start out a cloud kitchen or somebody, who may have an offline presence trying to also focus more on delivery, would be that. So the first would be that I think increasingly it's important to have a more differentiated offering, both in terms of the product, maybe even the brand. Maybe 5 years, 7 years back, there were not too many brands, there were not too many people delivering. And just by selling a burger or a biryani, you could still reach out to users, they could still have a recall about the brand. But I think increasingly with the number of brands, with the number of restaurants or cloud kitchens opening up, it's very important to have a very sharp, differentiated positioning almost. And in that ways, over time, customers would have better loyalty, there'll be lower acquisition costs. I think the reliance on discounts will be lower. And effectively, you could charge customers fairly for the product rather than sort of marketing and discounting heavily. I think the second thing, in my view, that's fairly important, and it's true for cloud kitchens, it's true for most restaurants also, I guess, is that, whatever we end up paying for is for the whole day. But basis the cuisine or the category one may be operating in, you could only be utilizing the assets, the people you're paying for a few hours a day. And that fundamentally becomes very inefficient, and it's tough to then make money if it's a business of poor utilization. So I think cloud kitchens and I think restaurants in general too have always tried to find ways to improve their utilization, get business throughout the day. That could be done by multiple brands like how we are doing, Rebel is doing, I think a bunch of other folks are doing. It could be done by operating in a cuisine or in a category that naturally has demand throughout the day. I think cafes is a great example. And I think the third point, which is somewhat connected, is that cloud kitchens could also think of avenues beyond just delivery to get a small part of their revenues. It could be catering, it could be a subscription business on the side if it's that kind of a food. It could be some takeaway business, could also have an offline dine-in sort of, a small one maybe, but that kind of a business. So, there are seasons and there are times when delivery may not be doing as well. So if you have some sort of a hedge to this, you could possibly sweat your assets better and get business throughout the week, sorry. So yeah, I think, this is pretty much from my side. I'll pass it on to you.
Thanks, Anshul. Thanks for having me here. My name is Charan Narang. I lead the food services business for General Mills. General Mills has been supporting QSR brands in India for close to about a decade and a half. And we've been working with QSRs, we've been working also with cloud kitchen brands like Rebel and Boxate. In my years in the industry, and something that we also endeavor to do for supporting our customers is, I think it's so profitability is key, and to drive profitability, it's in the way I'd like to put it is it's a 4S formula. So first, simplify and streamline operations, supply chain particularly, how you do that, how well you do that, how much, particularly also for cloud kitchens, how much you're able to store, how frequently your stocks are coming in, how you're following FIFO, so on and so forth. That really adds to the bottom line. How do you standardize, right? And whether it's processes, whether it's products, and we work with the brands to help them, to offer them a complete standardization, whether it's in terms of flour, whether it's in terms of ready-to-eat frozen desserts, so on and so forth. And the final S for me then, as a result of the first three, would be to scale. And that's how, in my opinion, you arrive at profitability. Yeah, thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Harshendar. I run the tech at Ghost Kitchens India, and really honored to be part of this interesting panel where we have crazy business models and amazing brands. As everyone would be delving deep into the operational aspects and also the business aspects of it, somebody who's running a tech, I would love to bring in how to leverage the distribution platforms like Swiggy, Zomato, and what all they help us, in terms of improving the point of the discussion now, the profitability. Like for example, most of the restaurateurs or the newcomers, when they come into a cloud kitchen, they expect that they are coming in because of the lower overheads. But after a few days, you understand because of the thin margins, you might be thinking there's nothing more to be done. But what you have to understand is this industry or the segment of cloud kitchens is being referred to as food tech as well, and there's a reason for it, why it is. And especially for a cloud kitchen, your consumer is not just a customer, so he's a data point all along for you. So the same consumer, once the food is serviced, so he might be, he or she might be a data point in terms of a 5-star review, maybe an order requiring support, maybe an IGCC point. All these are needed so that the distribution platforms will help you to be able to grow your visibility and improve your business with lesser customer acquisition cost. The whole game here is about the customer acquisition cost, because rest of the things would be in your control, but customer acquisition cost is something that is totally not under your control, and you have to be dependent on a platform and somebody is helping you to be able to reach a wider audience. And also, if you consider this in a cloud kitchen or a digital first business, you get an access of the data of the user even before that person becomes a customer to you, in terms of, especially on Swiggy, Zomato, in terms of the funnel metrics, where you get to know what are the impressions that you have, how many menu opens you have, how many carts, how many payments that you have received from this. All these data levers help you in multiple ways. For example, if you search for an item or a restaurant on Swiggy or Zomato, you might see that the listing preference, it's not just because of the reviews or maybe because of the user preferences, but also so many operational metrics are also involved, are mingled into it, like for example, the kitchen preparation time or a rider wait time or estimated delivery time. So all these things help you to be able to be listed on top, down, so to be able to get better visibility for your business and to be able to have lesser customer acquisition cost. So these data points, I believe, would help the business as a cloud kitchen business to be able to reduce their customer acquisition cost in turn, and also to improve the profitability of it. So that's what.
That's a great point, Harshendar, especially on customer acquisition cost. Especially when working with Swiggy and Zomato, we don't get the actual information of who that customer was, right? So we don't know if a customer ordered on Zomato and then ordered again our brand on Swiggy. And how do we find that out, whether it's the same customer or it's not, which is probably impossible to find. So a lot of brands, I think, struggle to find out whether they are doing well or not. And the only metrics in front of them are the page ratings or the order ratings that they get, and some metrics like IGCC or ORS and KPT. So how should a brand think about knowing at least that my CAC is going down and I'm in the right direction?
One thing I want to add before answering that, so the food business as such, running a diner and a cloud kitchen business is totally different on its own. And for example, not in the very basics of it, like for example, it is food plus service plus customer experience. That's what in the end your restaurant business is. It's the same even now, but the customer experience is more digital. So it's whatever you had before, you have some more aspects of it and some more leeway to it. And coming to your question of, how to be able to understand whether the customer acquisition cost is coming down, that is on the business viability of it is something anyway you get to know in the period of time. But apart from that, if at all, if your discounts are changing, if you are, the different kinds of discounts are changing and how your reviews are increasing. And even with your decrease or increase of discounts, is the business getting impacted because of it? Because your customer acquisition cost or CAC is reducing because irrespective of your discounts or irrespective of where you're listed, your business still stays strong. So there are times where, because of the competition, if I want to order a pizza, so there are times where you'll be looking for a specific pizza, but there are significant number of times you'll be looking for a discount. But if you see, if the brand loyalty is getting built, in a physical business, brand loyalty, you'll be able to check based on the rewards or the loyalty points or how many repeat customers that you're getting. Here, you're not able to get. But though some way or not the exact customer, but you'll be knowing new users versus repeated users. But your number of percentage of repeated users and your discounts versus the business viability of it. So all these points won't directly tell you that, but will give you the trend, whether your CAC is going down.
Yeah, great point. So essentially what you're saying is, if you typically run 40% off up to 80 on Swiggy and Zomato, and your average sale is 100 per day, and one day you run 60% off up to 120, and then obviously that day you will probably do 250. But after that,
on a Wednesday, would you be able to remove that discount and still be able to stay on top?
Then after that, if you come back to 40% off up to 80 and your average sale per day goes to 120, then you know you've retained some of those customers who came that day.
Yes.
Great point.
Cool. I'll also try and address some of that. So I'm Sidharth from Swiggy. Firstly, glad to be here. And I think as a platform, we've seen a phenomenal growth for the cloud kitchens in the last 4 to 5 years. Today, if you look at top cities in India, 1 out of every 5 orders is actually fulfilled by a cloud kitchen, right? And as Raghav initially said that today, a cloud kitchen doesn't have physical presence, so there is no touch and feel for the consumer. And that becomes a big starting point for a cloud kitchen to actually see how do you create consideration for the end consumer that you're targeting, right? Now, with that background, I think the 2 most important things that become a pivotal part of any cloud kitchen strategy is number 1, how do you drive discovery? And number 2, how do you deliver exceptional consumer experience consistently, right? Again and again. And these 2 aspects really drive that consideration in the minds of the consumer, right? Now, if I have to break this into 2 parts, there is one part which is how do you generate organic traffic for your cloud kitchen, which is to say that, okay, how do consumers keep coming back and keep engaging with your kitchen and ordering food from you? And the second is how do you sort of create then inorganic traffic, which obviously happens through some of the investments that you make to reach out to the consumers. Now, if I'll break it further, organic today covers everything from, let's say, menu engineering. Today, you actually eat from your eyes when you first time see the food, right? So one is, are you present? Are you offering the items which are the best-selling items in that category? Is your menu speaking to the end consumer? How are the quality of images? What is the kind of description that is there? From how your back-end operations are automated in the sense that you are, again, very reliable in your delivery. Today, from a pecking order, from a consumer standpoint, the biggest P0 for a consumer is that if I'm promised something, I'm getting that. And if you break that promise, that is when consumer dissatisfaction happens. So how do you integrate your back-end processes so that you're consistently delivering the same quality of service and also ensuring that your relay to the delivery executives, etc., happen very, very seamlessly, right? Third is how do you work on your ratings? The feedback that you're getting from your consumers, how are you taking that in? How are you making those changes to ensure that your ratings are also improving substantially over a period of time? How does your brand respond to customer search? If the customer is searching for a dish, is your brand featuring? Right? So these are all elements of pure operations that you run at a cloud kitchen, which will get you organic traffic, repeat traffic coming again and again, right? And the second is inorganic, which is to say that, okay, how do I invest in the right mediums to reach out to my target consumers? Now, that could be through various propositions that you participate in. It could be affordability-led. It could be certain campaigns that run. It could also be, okay, can I run campaigns to drive monetization through ads, right? It can also be, can I have a digital strategy where I'm actually using tools like own media, which is run by Swiggy and Zomato, or can I use WhatsApp as a medium? So essentially, a sound strategy both on organic and inorganic is something which is very, very essential for any cloud kitchen. And in terms of cost of acquisition, I think one clear measure of cost of acquisition is that today we measure incremental orders. So cost per incremental order is what we measure when we spend on generating orders. Now what happens is that is a measure of saying that how much of incidental burn is happening and how much is actually contributing to that additional value that you're getting. And the sweet spot is basically to operate in a 70 to 80 rupee range. And if any campaign that you're running, if the cost per order is that and you're getting an incremental order, that's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, good spot to be.
One question, which I know a lot of people running cloud kitchens would have, to you, Sidharth. Let's say, I run a cloud kitchen and I'm doing about, let's say 20 lakhs of sale. And I have a 2 lakh budget to spend on discounts and performance marketing. How do I decide to divide this 2 lakhs? Because if I put it only on discounts, I run 60% off up to 120. And then eventually I only get orders when it's 60% off up to 120 and rest of the days become very lean. Versus putting on performance marketing where I'm not giving discount, but then I put, ads and my M2O is not very good, so it does not give the kind of ROI that a discount-led campaign does. So how should a brand decide between these two growth levers?
So that's a good question, Raghav. So one is that, see, again, whenever a cloud kitchen devises their plans, one is the investment should be a certain percentage of GMV, and that can be a fixed percentage, right? Typically, we operate in a 3.5% to 4% GMV range when you're talking about performance marketing campaigns, and you're talking about a slightly higher range when you're talking about discount offers. Now, the good thing is, with the current understanding of consumers that we have, what we can definitely do is, so segmented discounting is evolved over a period of time, which basically means that if I'm spending 1 rupee, and let's say there is a particular consumer who is more discount centric, who has more affinity towards affordability, do I spend a deeper discount for that consumer and probably not give much of a discount to the other consumer? He will still continue to transact. So one is, how do you use segmented discounting as a lever to decide how do you want to apportion your funds? And same goes for performance marketing. Performance marketing, see, one thing also is that if you do performance marketing, there will still be a certain consumers who will come to your cloud kitchen, but if there is no offer running on it, they may still drop off. So there has to be, again, a user strategy to say that these are the consumers, इनको free भी अच्छा लगता है, इनको 50% up to ये अच्छा लगता है. For these consumers, flat menu for certain items is the way to go. How do you proportion your investments in offers basis that to generate a higher ROI? And then how do you supplement performance marketing to get these consumers into the fold? So I think that's the right way to do it rather than having a one-size-fits-all.
Okay, great. Great insight.
I am taking a cue from what you just said. I think for us, we are always a front-end company. We sell donuts in this country. So I will just go back to 3 years back when pandemic happened and Cloud Kitchen came as a surprise element to us, blessing in disguise more than that. What started off as a survival thing actually became a business on its own. We are almost 20% of our business is coming from Cloud Kitchen, apart from 80% coming from our own stores. What is typical about Cloud Kitchen, I think, is also for us, it's more like a phygital kind of thing where you have physical stores where you can actually display your product, etc. But however, it gets a little difficult if the same product doesn't come from the Cloud Kitchen in the same way. It gets a little difficult. So I think what we did as a brand was actually focus on the packaging, what is going to the customers in the Cloud Kitchen format. So I think that way we got survival. I think today Cloud Kitchen, I think I must thank all the gentlemen sitting here that, to actually promote the Cloud Kitchen in such a way that it is becoming an industry on its own.
Hi, I'm Thilak, representing SHERO Home Food. SHERO, the woman hero, that is the brand SHERO. As said, our model is this: we empower homemakers who are sitting at home to do a certain type of food, which regularly women does food, hopefully. So we empower them to make a standardized menu as per our menu or price. So we work like a branded home food, and we are first in the country and to the world that we are the one who branded home food and made available a standardized menu across all home foods in Swiggy and Zomato. That's the first thing. I don't know whether my model belongs to cloud kitchen or a kitchen in kitchen model. So with this, in the today's scenario that people have transformed from dine-in restaurants to cloud kitchen, we don't know, but we are trying to make even more little easier that even without the tiny investment of cloud kitchen or the equipments or manpower, we just empower the homemakers to use their own kitchens to produce food for us. So that's the model. In the era consumers where the biryanis and pizza sells so much today, but we are able to sell about 50 to 60,000 orders of branded home food today in the last 3 years, in the short 3 years. Predominantly, yes, this credit goes to Swiggy, Zomato, primarily in the initial stage, but they have to help us in sustainability. That is a different issue. So this is the beginning. My message is that an innovation might be like this, where even the period today, cloud kitchens also has challenges, as Raghav rightly said. These kind of models has helped us to make even the first order itself gives a gross margin for the homemaker, and definitely there is an unit economics for us as well after Swiggy Zomato also. So that's also there. So you audience, you can also try that. Getting into a cloud kitchen might be an easy thought. Look like that there is a very small investment into it, but there are a lot of things you need to work and focus. So try a model that where there is a kitchen already existing, might be commercial as well. Might be, for example, if one is doing a Chinese kitchen, you might partner with them as a kitchen in kitchen model to place maybe a burger brand or your donut brand, whatever it is, so that you can share space and cost. That is also possible. That we did it at home. That's our model. Here, for the people who just got this message, might be a little interesting. I have two questions for my fellow panelists here. One to Raghav, other to Mr. Sidharth. Raghav first, that we are a home-based kitchen model where I'm sure that though we are the first people to brand home food and first in the country, but there might be few people coming in. So for them, making 5 to 10 orders at home in their existing setup is easy. That's what we are doing. And I'm very interesting to say that there are people, one kitchen in Hyderabad, we are present in 60 locations and then 550 kitchens across South India today. One kitchen in Nizamabad, near Hyderabad, is doing about 80 to 100 orders in home kitchen. 80 to 100 orders in a home kitchen. Same regular your B2K setup or whatever it is. So when we grow beyond this, we certainly feel that the demand for the home food is so big. So as Rebel is one of the largest cloud kitchen across country, how do you can help or see that for me or for the others who are aspirant can help in accommodating such kind of models or people space for them to use your facilities, if so that it can be a definite model and helpful for the homemaker. In SHERO Home Food, every consumer gets a value food, that's right, and company gets margin, that's right. But here, every order you make in SHERO, a woman or a family smiles for that. So that's the one thing that how you can help. Second, to Mr. Sidharth, that Sidharth, even though we say this, We are happy, thankful, but we could not differentiate in your platform, including to Zomato as well, that we are a home-made food. Even though our brand name says that SHERO Home Food directly on the title, but can you help us in putting it in a different way or helping us so that it can be helpful for people coming in to say that this is a home food category exclusively so that other people in the audience can also try that? Thank you for all this.
Yeah, I'll try to answer that question within 30 seconds because we have 9 minutes left and we have not got thoughts from 4 other panelists. But absolutely, Rebel has 350 kitchens and we have a Rebel launcher program where anybody can take space in our kitchens and start their first cloud kitchen or to expand into new cities. So that's a way, but I'm sure everybody understood the great model that Thilak and the SHERO team has evolved, which is enabling a homemaker, from her kitchen without any incremental capex or incremental costs to start delivering through Swiggy Zomato under the SHERO brand. And I think some 600 or 700 women entrepreneurs are already on board, and within just Tamil Nadu, they are doing 50,000 plus deliveries a month. So, that just shows the kind of potential which is there when this model expands. And I'm sure, there are great things ahead for such a model and for SHERO. Over to you, Sidharth.
Yeah, so I agree with you that sometimes some of these nuances get missed because if you look at the platforms, you will have generic collections that run. And home cooked food, for example, that value that you bring may probably get lost, right? But we can definitely work out customized campaigns where we can still hit the message hard and register that message with the consumers, and we can sort of work that out and see how we can take that forward. But those options are there. While they may not work in some of the standardized properties that we have, but we can probably definitely do something differential as well.
Hi guys, my name is Vedant Pasari. I'm from Edabba. We're a cloud kitchen brand based in Calcutta. We have 7 cloud kitchens. We focus on meal boxes and we do North Indian food, Chinese food. So coming back to the point of cloud kitchens and profitability in cloud kitchens. So everyone starts at a point where you look at unit economics right at the beginning. Okay, if you're selling a meal, what is the sort of profitability you'll have by selling that meal? You want to scale in the next step, so you start looking at standardization, setting SOPs. Everyone sort of gets to a point where they achieve that. You look at unit economics in terms of each unit being positive in terms of profitability. But as you scale to more and more kitchens, you realize your admin costs really build on. So on a kitchen level, it is easier to become positive. But on a company level, it is more difficult to achieve that profitability. I think most of us cloud kitchen brands today face that challenge. So we go into the approach of launching multiple brands from that same location. From each of those kitchens, we try to operate multiple brands so that our profitability becomes higher and our admin costs goes down. But then comes the challenge of dealing with Swiggy Zomato, as Raghav had pointed out initially. We don't actually have the customer data. There is a lot of data you get, which obviously you can work towards improving your sales, your ratings, which are of course primary. You want to make sure your ratings are good, your food is of good quality, so your customer keeps coming back. But between Swiggy and Zomato, it's a discount-driven market. So you don't know what is, which customer is, what's your acquisition cost on Swiggy or on Zomato. Wherever you're running higher discounts, your market share will of course shift there. That's the challenge we face on a daily basis that as cloud kitchen owners that, okay, there is a market share you achieve. You're doing this multi-brand to achieve profitability on an overall level. On unit economics, you're positive. Each of your outlets are, making money. But on an overall level, how do you sort of scale that while still being profitable? And, of course, going forward, I feel Swiggy, Zomato are going to play a key role in trying to solve that for us. Everyone is, I think in the last 1 year, everyone has started looking at that aspect of the business a lot more. It has become the need of the hour. And I think with a deep discounting is just, you just gain the customers for an interim period, like someone mentioned earlier. But it's about how much you can retain those customers and then still scale profitably. I think Sidharth was mentioning how they're going to launch this segmented discounts. I feel that can be a big play and that can really help us. But going forward, there's also an approach that several companies are taking, which is a QSR come cloud approach. And I think as a brand, even we are leaning towards that approach. And I feel that may be the right way forward, since you won't be completely dependent on cloud.
Omnichannel is what you're referring to, having presence in a few locations and then rest of the locations in the city being supported through cloud.
Exactly. So you have some branding presence and you have some physical presence which gets your brand names out there. But yeah, that's my take on the profitability for cloud kitchens.
Great.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, Viren De Silva from Good Flippin' Burgers. Good Flippin' Burgers is actually an omni-channel play. We are present in Bombay, Delhi, and soon to be Pune. And I think each of the formats we operate have a different strategy. But stepping back a bit, anyone wanting to enter the cloud kitchen business, I think the first thing is to think about the size of the opportunity and the ambition of the opportunity you're going for. I think one should not forget that the delivery market is only a subsection of the dine-in market, right? And the food industry as a whole. So if your ambition is to be a 1,500 crore brand or a 2,000 crore brand, the opportunity of scaling via cloud kitchen and delivery, I think you're going to hit a threshold there. So maybe you need to step back and think about that, how big you want to be. The second thing is that while you think about this, you're going to come to one very important factor is addition is one part, but distinction is more important. So as you scale, you're going to end up adding brands as a cloud kitchen play to make that scale of opportunity bigger. But if you have distinction in the brand, and we may be right in our play, there is more opportunity. The last point I'd like to touch upon is that, I think I'm sure Sidharth's tired of hearing, give us your phone numbers, but I think a lot of it's made of data. At a fundamental level, I'd like to rubbish that a little, because at the end of the day, if you love your food and you have something that's sticky and someone that wants to keep coming back, and my co-founders are here, and it's product, right? So word of mouth, and in this room, if I look around and ask the question, has anyone tried Good Flippin' Burgers? Hopefully there are a few nods and more. I can see some hands in the back and happy faces. But I just want to leave you with that, is that, you can always look at the fact that there are no phone numbers next to your order, but you can also look at the 20 data points that my colleagues have mentioned and work on that. And he's whispered to me he's going to give everybody and all their brands their phone numbers before they hit their IPO, but we'll talk about that later.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Pranav. So I'm the pessimist in this group, right? So luckily I'm at the end, and that's why I moved over here. I started my cloud kitchen business in 2015. Single store, single brand. Grew, became multi-store, multi-brand within Bombay. And I shut my cloud kitchen business in 2022 at the height, right? That's when pandemic was there. That's where everyone was saying cloud kitchen's booming. That's when I shut it. And I'll give you a few learnings on my journey, right? I'm just going to give you short bullet points, what people have spoken about right now. So you speak about customer acquisition cost. I don't call it customer acquisition cost. I call it order acquisition cost. And there's a very big difference because you're not acquiring a customer, you're acquiring an order. And most of the people who get into this business get into the rut of acquiring orders, playing with data, playing with various things. But what's very important, what Sejo very rightly said, is you need to build your brand. You need to acquire a strategy where 50% of your business at least comes from organic searches. And unless you get to that level, you're just going to be in the rut trying to give discounts, grow customer base. So the second metric, which is very important to me when I look at the cloud kitchen business, and I call it the cost of doing business. And what constitutes this, right? It's the commission which you pay to the aggregators, plus the GST because we don't get input credit. It's the ad spend which you contribute to on the aggregators, and it's the discount cost. Typically for a cloud kitchen, if you add these three together, it'll be in the range of 40 to 50%. And after that, you've got your food cost, after that, you've got your overheads, and after that, you make money if you do make money. So what you really need to track very strongly is your cost of doing business. The minute you go above 50%, your business is not going to do well. And I've learned this the hard way, and I can share this advice with you. Another thing which I always say, which again is contrary to what a lot of people say, is you cannot start a business or build a business with discounts. Right? Your first strategy has to be to build a brand. You need to spend money to build a brand. The minute you get through that cycle, then the only way to scale, discounts could come in and play a role over there, but you cannot start your business by putting a discount into your business model. So please keep that in mind, and I'll hand it over to the next.
Thanks, Pranav. Great insights. One final word from Mohit from Currynama before we end the session because we are out of time.
Yeah, hi. I am Mohit. I'm from Delhi. We run a cloud kitchen business in Delhi under the name of Currynama. We're probably the youngest company out of all the people on the panel. We started it 2 years back, and we run a modern Indian brand, running 6 kitchens across Delhi. The concept is modern Indian food. A lot of focus is on premium products, premium packaging, premium pricing. What we have learned in the last 2 years from a viewpoint of profitability is that you have to have control over your unit cost. So we are a bootstrap company. We don't have any outside funding. Whatever we make is what we spend. And that's why it took us 2 years to get from 1 to 6. What we learned is that when it comes to unit cost, it differs from cuisine to cuisine. So for example, for us in Indian cuisine, it's absolutely impossible to go below a 32, 33% food cost. But it can be very different in a pizza brand, in a burger brand that can run around 25, 26, 28%. So once you have control over those things, I think you at least understand your break-even point. And if you understand your break-even point, at least you know that at this point of sale, at least you're not losing money. And for us, we run a company for profit because, as I said, we don't have any money to burn. So if we lose money in any of the months, we actually have to put it out of our pockets. So for us, it's very important to track that and also see it from a unit level profitability perspectives. So even some of the outlets, if they're not doing well in the first, say, 6 months or 8 months, we take a very quick decision and we just close them down. Because if it's not done well in the first 6 months, 8 months, it's not going to do well in 2 years or 3 years. As doesn't matter how much money you're going to spend on customer acquisition. Second thing we learned, again, because we put in all our money ourselves, is that you need scale in this business. If you have 1 or 2 cloud kitchens, you're not going to make money. In the first 2 outlets, we were not making money. And in the third one, we were not making even more money because we had to start building a base kitchen and we started the whole logistics process after that. But beyond the third one, from the fourth and the fifth one, we actually started seeing some positive results. And then you can actually go back to the aggregators and even your suppliers to negotiate with them better terms because, of course, you have scale in terms of revenues, you have scale in terms of demand. So for us, the most important learning from a cloud kitchen, from a profitability perspective, was unit cost, break-even point, and you have to build scale as fast as possible. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think it was a very, very insightful session. Some great thoughts from different stakeholders, and I'm sure the audience have a lot to absorb and take it on from here. Thank you so much.